Marvel superheroes and Transformers, assemble! Hey, what's up everybody? This is my review of Transformers Crossovers War Machine. And War Machine in vehicle form rolls really well, which is nice to see. I love the color combination of black, silver, and red. However, I have to say though that the windshield and the windows could have been better if they were like a semi-transparent plastic as opposed to a solid color like red here. I'm not really a big fan when the toy designers use solid colors like this. It doesn't look bad. It would just look better, I think, with a semi-transparent plastic as opposed to a solid color like this. But as it is, the red and the black look really nice together, so I can't complain too much. Looking at the side profile of the vehicle, you do have the wheels and the disc brakes painted with silver, which is nice. You do have a little weapon here on the side that rotates out a bit. Looking at the back, you can take a look at the paint apps there. And take a look at the underside of the vehicle. And finally, the front end. And this looks really sporty and really looking aggressive as well. You do have tips of weapons here coming out. And these become more prominently used in the actual robot mode. And you do have the headlights here, and this triangle here are made of glow-in-the-dark material, and I'll show you that feature in a minute here. But I do want to talk about the size of this vehicle. This is actually a fairly decently sized vehicle, and it's actually not really a deluxe, and it's more on the size or scale with the Human Alliance or the Alternators vehicle forms. And just as a size comparison, I'll bring in Deluxe Class Swerve, and you can clearly see the size or scale difference there. So clearly the crossover vehicle here is not a deluxe figure. It's a really nice sized vehicle form. So with that said, let me show you the glow-in-the-dark feature. And you can see the glow-in-the-dark feature does work really nice. So as usual, the first thing I'll start off with is transforming the legs. The legs are basically formed out of the rear half of the vehicle. So what I find easier to do is just split the legs and extend them out. And you want to make sure they kind of lock in place. You want to make sure you just use a lot of force and extend out the legs as far as they'll go, because otherwise they'll be a little bit loose. So you want to make sure you extend out the legs to the full extent. Bring down the little toes here and just double check on the legs to make sure they're all the way out, which they seem to be. And moving to the front of the vehicle, or the top of the robot mode, you want to take the two sides of the vehicle here and rotate them out like that. You want to take the section of vehicle here and rotate up like that. Now what you want to do is rotate the waist around 180. And the really cool part, in my opinion, of the transformation is the head reveal. You can see the section of the hood here will be untab and fold down and reveal the head. Now what's cool is you notice there's actually a big cavity here. This whole section fills in that cavity really nicely and becomes the chest. So that is cool. Finally, you want to extend out the arms and bring out the hands. And there it is, War Machine in robot mode. And you can bring down the little weapons here on the shoulder, which is kind of cool. Rotate these down. And just a quick 360 for you. And I have to say, it's one of the better Transformers crossovers figures. Especially if you look at the Star Wars crossover figures, most of the time they don't turn out as well as this particular crossover turned out. So I'm really happy with that. In terms of articulation, well, the head apparently is just on a swivel joint. You can have articulation here at the shoulders. And you do have articulation at the elbows. Of course, you have waist articulation, and hip articulation forward, back, and out to the side. A swivel above the knee, a bend at the knee, and that is all you have for transformation. And speaking of the leg, how I told you that you need to make sure you extend it all the way out. You can see it's kind of loose now. I think it's because it came out of that groove. You want to make sure you all the way extend it out like that until it kind of locks in place. And that's how you know you transform the legs correctly. So I'll bring in Crossover's Spider-Man here, just as a visual comparison, and also Venom. So there are all the Transformer crossover Marvel superheroes together. Well, actually, superhero and supervillain. So there you go. And just for fun, here is the Walmart 6-inch War Machine. And you can see a size comparison with that one. And of course, the glow-in-the-dark features do work in robot mode as well. You can see in addition to the arc reactor, you do have the glowing eyes. And of course, the headlights now on the shoulders also still glow in the dark, which is really cool. So all in all, I think it's a really great figure. Obviously, it was a very simple transformation. And most importantly, in robot mode, it looks actually very decent, actually better than decent. Again, like I said, if you look at some of the Star Wars crossovers in the robot or mech form, they really don't look that great most of the time. So this actually is a believable War Machine. And if I see the other version of this with the Iron Man colors, I will pick it up if I can find it for a decent price. So there you go, a look at Transformers Crossovers War Machine.